right, so our final interview of the day literally comes as the doors are closing. Last one. Save the best for. I don't want to say best for last because Trust McNeil might come after me.
Let's say best for last. I'm last, so I get to.
There you know what? Yes,
you get that title.
You're back in the corner.
Yes,
yeah,
you are.
In all of Houston.
Exactly, you are. You are.
Yeah, I have to be. I'm last.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so there we go. Yeah. We're with Griffin Newman, who is Arthur on The Tick, which, by the way, dude, fucking killing it, man.
Thank you very much.
You are killing it as I was telling Peter, like, one of my favorite scenes is from y'all's pilot, when he's like trying to find your lair, and you're like, God, I'm like, and I was just like laughing. I'm like, this is so genuine. It was so good.
That scene specifically, Tick being in Arthur's apartment for the first time, assuming there's a trigger for a secret lair and trying to find it, is the only scene that's in every version of The Tick. It's in the comic, it's in the cartoon, it's in the Warburton show, and then our version. That specific scene. Yeah, and originally in the pilot, there was only one scene with the Tick and Arthur. It was just when we met at night outside the lair. And so we were in rehearsals, and Ben was like, you guys are so good together, I think we need one more scene in the pilot. And as a mega fan, I was like, we should do...
Yeah.
I was very proud that I suggested that, and I was like, can we do the
I'm glad you brought up
scene?
I'm glad you brought up the Warburton series, because that was Warburton did a great Tick.
Great job.
Yeah. He was and the fact they got canceled was like, because...
It was up against Friends. It was like the 2001, 2002... TV season.
Yeah.
And it was on Thursday nights on Fox, and Fox...
It started out Thursday nights, and they started moving
moving it around.
I found it hard to keep up with it.
Yeah, but the thing is, with the Fox network, is like, if you're not hitting it out of the gate, they cancel you.
Yes. And I remember, I think when they announced it originally, it was supposed to be on Sunday as part of the animation lineup.
Yeah.
But then they moved it up against sitcoms, and it kind of wasn't either.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's weird about that show is it's the year in between the first X-Men and the first Spider-Man. So our whole modern language for live-action superheroes, in a post-Christopher Reeve Batman era as the new era was beginning, it was just being formed, and there wasn't really a reference point for what those things were. So they said, like, can you just do Seinfeld in spandex?
And superhero culture hadn't permeated yet.
Right. And so a lot of the sort of inside jokes of the show, the mainstream culture doesn't get. And now we're at a point where everyone knows all the tropes.
Everyone gets some in.
Right, so it's really fun to be able to just zoom with that one. Because, I mean, that was my entry point for the character. I got in on Warburton, and then I went back and watched the cartoon when it got canceled, because I was like, I need more.
I was the cartoon, then the show.
Now, speaking of the cartoon, did you get to meet Rob Paulson? Because he did.
I did. I finally got to meet him, which we've been messaging online for like 2-3 years now. Which I finally got to meet him this time, which is so satisfying. Because it's a weird thing. I don't know. It's like
you're my voice before I did it.
Right. And I do feel this weird thing of like.
Kinship
a kinship. There's a weird kind of legacy thing. It's like we have the same alma mater, like something like that.
Tick you.
Right. But then the other thing is, I kind of feel like thank you for playing this character in a way that sounds close enough to me, Like if Maurice LaMarche had played Arthur, I would have been screwed. I'd have no chance of getting the part,
Your voice is, but on the same wavelengths as Rob's.
Yes. I feel very lucky.
And Mickey Dolenz, who played him before Rob.
Right. I do sometimes on set, I'll do my specific Rob Paulson Arthur impression, which is a Tick! When he was sort of running after, it was always that sort of screechy one. Yeah.
Now, staying on the Tick, because we're talking to Peter and about the suit. What's your suit like? Because his, like, it from season 1 to season 2, he got a little better, but it's still a torture device.
It got a lot better, I will say. I mean, it's still torture, but it's relative, how do you rank torture?
Right.
My suit's rough. I mean, it's, you don't want to complain about these things.
It's true.
It's such a, like, I will say, in high school, when I was a kid who would, like, skip parties to come to conventions and stuff, I would stay up all night in my bathroom mirror. I had a full-length bathroom mirror, and I would practice, like, superhero poster poses.
Same here.
I'd go, what looks cool if you're sort of if you're like this and your head's at that angle and do all of that stuff, you know?
Well,
And so it's a very bizarre thing to then actually get to wear one of these suits and do those photo shoots and get to do those posters. A thing I never thought I'd get to do. But it is incredible when you put it on the first time.
Yeah.
And they go like, hey, you know, whenever you want to get out of this, I know it's hot, I know it's uncomfortable. And you go, are you kidding? I could stay in this all day. And then a couple weeks in, you're like, well, I could get out of this.
You can get out of this
you
now.
know? But that's what I tell myself on set. Every time I'm uncomfortable, I literally I hold up the arms.
Yeah.
I look at some detail of the costume and I remember, you know, like this is the exact thing you wanted to do.
It's true. Now, you also do a podcast.
I do.
Talk about your podcast, because we're still trying to like break in. You know, we're trying to. So.
I have a podcast called Blank Check with Griffin and David. I host it with David Sims, who is the film critic for The Atlantic.
Oh wow. Okay.
And we met through being movie trivia partners. We were obsessed with movie trivia. I had just gotten fired from a sitcom, and he had just gotten out of a long-term relationship. And we both were like kind of hitting rock bottom and became obsessed with going to trivia. And then out of that, we said, well, like, we need a new structure for our friendship. So we do this podcast called Blank Check, where we pick a director who we think got at some point like blank check status. They had the massive sort of culture-defining success.
Like Steven Spielberg.
Like Steven Spielberg or James Cameron or M. Night Shyamalan.
Right.
Any of these people where they go like, you're your brand.
Right.
Whatever you want to do, we'll give you the money.
Who's your latest one?
Right now, we just are starting Michael Mann right now, who's a weird one, but we're coming off of Tim Burton. So they're kind of polar extremes. Tim Burton is super stylized, childlike gothic, and Michael Mann is like Heat and The Insider and Miami Vice and all these gritty ones.
He did Manhunter, which
Manhunter,
is
the
before
original.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. But all of his movies are way over budget.
Yeah.
Way too long, these big stars, and they always lose money. But he always gets the chance to make them again and again, which is like the blank check thing for us.
Which, you know, Miami Vice, I mean,
right.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, but some of these, you know, it's interesting, you know, watching the early films before they have their big hits, and then what they do when they have that sort of status, whether, you know, some people run it into the ground, someone like Shyamalan, they go up and down and up and down.
Oh, Edgar Wright, where he just continues to, like, you know, keep that creative voice and doesn't compromise, because I mean, he was supposed to do Ant-Man and then
that's part of the thing, you know. I mean, he was choosing to you know, I want to keep my checks smaller but have control over them.
Yeah, I mean, he did Baby Driver, which was awesome.
Right, but I mean, sometimes people ask us, you know, they'll say like, does that person really count as a blank check director? And it's like, it's not about getting $100 or $200 million.
Right.
It's about getting to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get guys like Chris Nolan who get $200 million and whatever they want to do.
True.
But sometimes and deliver, right? You know. But sometimes, you know, it's one or the other.
Right.
And we just find that fascinating. What people do, how they construct their
Schumacher
careers.
yet?
We haven't. He's a guy we're always kind of talking about.
Yeah, you should, because the thing is, when he did Phone Booth, 10 days.
Yeah.
10 days to make that movie.
Right.
You know, with Batman, you know, Forever and Batman and Robin, he totally stunk it up.
Right, and that's sort of, I think for him, he was like, I guess I should do this for my career. I mean, he's got weird ones where the passion projects are strange, and the big ones were sometimes just for hire.
Right, and like then you have like what, The Lost Boys. You're like, this is a great film. Where did it go wrong?
But you go like, he did 2 John Grissom's in a row, then 2 Batman in a row, you know? So here's this guy who did these very serious adult legal thrillers, then they hired him to do Batman, and he camped it up so much. You know, it's like a lot of variation. Yeah.
Actually, now I need to find this podcast, because now I know what I want to listen to.
Available
iTunes.
wherever podcasts are found.
There you go.
Apple iTunes.
Yeah.
But since you know, Rob brought up, you know, that you have a podcast, what can you give, you know, to us, you know, trying to, I guess, you know, break through to the other side, or trying to, you know, get more exposure?
Podcast-wise?
Yeah, podcast, or even vidcast-wise, because, I mean, we're more vidcast than podcast.
Vidcast I can't speak to.
Right.
Podcast I can. Both as a rabid consumer and as someone who's been doing it for about 4 or 5 years now. What I have found both in what connects on our show when we make it, and what I like when I listen to it, especially since podcasts are so often, whereas vidcasts, it's like I'm putting all my attention into doing this. I'm sitting down and watching this. Podcasts are often what you're listening to on the commute, or while you're doing work, or whatever it is. And so it's kind of people wanting to keep themselves company. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, how do I not feel lonely in this situation? How do I feel, you know, socially productive while doing something else? And so I think the podcast I listen to, and when I think our show works, is when it feels like a conversation that we're letting other people into.
That's what we do.
You know, you're kind of at a bar, with your best nights of your life, dinner party, whatever it is with your friends, and the conversation is just going great. A podcast, you want to feel like you're inviting whoever puts their headphones in to just join that conversation.
That's
I feel like the less presentational,
Yeah.
and the more sort of familial as you can get.
okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sitting down, just trading ideas back and forth, trading your opinions back and forth.
Yeah, and just kind of when you can get that sort of flow, that energy, that fun of what it feels like to hang out with your best friends. I think that's what's contagious.
Actually, that's a great piece of advice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Griffin, when you probably have to get going, don't you?
Yeah.
We're gonna let you go. The tick is out on Amazon now.
Yeah, season 2.
Season
2 streaming.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are amazing as Arthur. So
Thank you very
so
much.
much. Thank you for doing this.
My pleasure. Yes.
And did you have fun in Houston?
I did. I had a great time. And the weather was a little tricky.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the nice thing here, the convention center is connected to 2 hotels
Yes.
and
Yeah.
10 restaurants.
Yes.
So I spent most of the weekend in this Bayou dome, just going through tunnels, not
Yeah,
having to
but hey, you
see
got
there.
probably some great food though,
I
right?
did. Yeah,
Good.
yeah, I had a good time here. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Griffin, man, thank you so
Real
much,
pleasure.
man.
Pleasure talking to you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.